Hey everyone, it's Desiree. I hope you are all doing awesomely as always and having fun with your paper, because remember, that's what this channel is all about. It's all about the paper and what we can do with it. Okay, so today, little different video. It's not going to be a card. We are going to have some fun making some ephemera for journals in the form of clusters. Very inspired by a fellow YouTuber, very good friend as well, Biddy Penny. I think she loves paper as much as I do, and what we can do with it. And she's very free, very, very, very free. She just goes with it, and I just absolutely love that. So this huge inspiration from her for this video. And what's also awesome, these are what we're going to make. We're going to make some tall, skinny clusters out of scraps. I have tons of scraps and just want to start busting into them, and I have loads of ephemera pieces. But Biddy Penny, and I will have her YouTube channel linked down below. And also she has a membership, and this was clusters was kind of the focal point when it came to the month of January, and it was a lot of fun to see how she processed through clusters. And that's what the big difference is. Now you can go to her channel and she, do a search on her channel. She's done cluster videos before on there. So, not saying you have to be a member to see the clusters. But what I really loved about the videos is, we have challenges, us as creators, whether we're creating for YouTube or whether we're creating for ourselves. So I'm just going to have that delineation there. We have challenges, and we have those frustrations where maybe we have this mental block, or we don't know if we're going to like it, or for creators on YouTube, how are we going to put this together? So, and she kind of went through that, which I thought was really cool. What was cool was she showed, and I believe that she had learned this or saw this from somebody else. So never claim that we have our own ideas, because we are inspired by everybody across the YouTube sphere, so to speak, is a cluster book. Who knew? After I create, and this is mine here, I used some of those papers. If you like 12 by 12 pattern papers, there's always some papers in that paper pad where you're like, no, I have no idea what I'm going to do with it. I'm not going to frame it. If I framed all of these that were great to frame, I wouldn't have any wall space. Or anything like that. You could do something like this. So these are like some of the pattern papers that, like this one does speak to me, so I had to have a pretty center. But some of these other ones, I'm like, yeah, I'm not quite sure in all of that. And what I did was I took basically that 12 by 12 and I just folded it in half. So this is 12 inches by 6 inches, so 12 by 6. I am not sure how many I have in here, but what I also did was, after I folded them in half, I sewed them. I just did a 5-stitch pamphlet, and then, of course I did it after I sewed it, I cut off a section. So I have two here where I just have short sections, and then here I have the full page, and then here I have another two, then I have a full page, and I just kept on doing that throughout the book that I created. And the reason why I did that, let me show you something here. Okay, I have them right here next to me. Is clusters, we can make clusters for anything. So today I'm going to show tall, skinny clusters. These could be this size. It could be longer. You could make them into belly bands and put them on your pages within your journals. You can also create clusters on your paper clips. Like I have here. So I just took a paper clip, used hot glue, and put it in between two tags so that it will, you know, I have this mechanism here that can clip onto a page. And then I also leave a little bit up top because, for those of you that know, I love bushy tassels coming off of these so that it looks like it's exploding all over the place. Again, we all have our different styles. But I figured for, if I put all my clusters in here, and I'm going to use, when I was doing my craft room purge, the huge purge, which yes, I do plan on, I know a lot of you have been asking when am I going to show the new room, after I went through that. It's coming. If I kept the pages full and just kept on putting, you know, using the repositional, I found a whole box of repositional dots. Not sure what I was doing with those. And that's how I'm going to stick them in here. But if I have something that's shorter, I'm going to kind of like offset the size. So that was my thought process. So the shorter ones can be for the paper clipped ones. And then the larger pages can be for, you know, like these fuller, clusters that will go in here. So that was my thought process. Now you can do this out of copy paper, scratch paper, whatever you have. You can even do it out of 6x6. It'll just be small. It'll be 6x3. So you can use whatever you want to use. Sorry about that. My camera stopped filming. Oh my goodness. So I thought this was like absolutely ingenious. Never saw anything like that before. So it's a good way to store your ephemera. This one's going to be for clusters. So we'll pull that back in. And this is what, as I said, that we're going to show today. Again, always just using scraps, or, you know, maybe, you know, you have ephemera from Tim Holtz, because yes. All right, so here, this one I actually started. So we'll start with this one. So here I just have a heavyweight piece of craft that I tore, went around it with vintage photo, and oh my goodness, I had to get a new vintage photo pad. This is very upsetting for me. But good that we were able to get it. Mine was just getting all gunky. I had it for years. I think I had it since I started in paper, and it was just getting really gunky. And I probably, you know, put a brush or a blending brush that had oxide on it, and it just all was all gunking up. So yes, I had to. It was a somber day. It was a very somber day, but good news, new one. Yes, absolutely. Okay, enough of that. So in here I just have a piece of coffee dyed paper that I shredded as well. I love the feel of tearing paper. So I grabbed some doilies that I coffee dyed, and I'm just going to tear this in half. And I think I'm going to go this way, so to just have that sitting like that. And then I have one of these paper dolls from Tim Holtz. I love these things. They are just great. And we're just going to layer that there. And then I pulled out, so my coffee dyed papers, when I coffee dyed, there were projects that I did, and if I coffee dye them, or like this has, you know, I designed some calendar pages, and I'm not using them. So I'm not going to get rid of these because I love them. They're coffee dyed. I can still use these. So pulled some of those out, and some of my pattern paper scraps. Yes. And my pattern paper scraps, I have a method of sorting them. So I have a bag for large or a box for large pieces, and I have a bag for, these are medium size, and then I have a bag for itsy bitsy size. So if any of these get itsy bitsy, they go into the other bag. And I'm just going to dig in here because let's use our scraps when it comes to this. This is a great stash buster. I don't know if I like those colors. I'm gonna grab a chunk. Oh, I like that one. All right, so we have those. Here's another one that I see. Okay. Here we go. I kind of like that. So I love tearing paper. Absolutely love, 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 love. I don't know why. I think it's very therapeutic. And there's no rhyme or reason here. You know, just grab your scraps, have fun with it. I'm going to ink this up. See how this is the first time I'm using this ink pad. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Okay. Huh. Who knew? I probably should change my other one a long time ago. And I want to make that one corner just a little bit darker because that's going to stick out there. And then we'll ink around this. And I'm going to let that hang off just a little bit. I'm going to grab my glue. And let's get this glued down. And then we'll get this on. All right, so now we have that. And I will tell you more about her membership in a minute. Let's see here. I'm going to dig into some of my Tim Holtz ephemera as well. Okay, that's just amazing what a new ink pad does. And I want to put that down there. I'm going to grab this little boy. I think he'll look cute with that sitting just like that. Make it look like he's leaning against that. So for me, the beauty of clusters is that, yes, it can definitely bust into your scraps. And you can change their look. And doing clusters, you can use anything for doing clusters. So papers, if you have stamped images, if you have die cuts. So, you know, a lot of times we see clusters, you know, for journals, but, you know, they can be whatever you're looking for or looking to do. So that is a cluster right there. Sometimes Cluster's usually not a word that I'll use. I'll use the word collage, because this is what this is. This is just a collage of items. You can add fabric, you can add lace. Like here, I've got some fabric pieces in here, stamps, anything like that. This time I just chose to put that piece of doily there that was coffee dyed, and we've got this pop of color coming out behind. So this could be a small belly band on a page, but it can also go onto a card front. And of course, you know, my voice there, you can hear that I'm trying to find a card front. So here's a card base. So fits perfectly right onto your card. So if you are a card maker, why not take, you know, here's a really pretty piece. Let's cut this. So I'm going to trim this down to 4 1/4. And then I'll cut it to 5 1/2. There's still good viable scraps there. So if I would take that, and of course, let's ink around those. I am a believer that vintage photo can work on any color. Some people are not a fan of vintage photo. Sometimes, you know, they look at it and they say, oh, well, it makes it look dirty. And it does, but you don't have to do all of that inking. But here, if I take this and just put that right there, we have a beautiful card front right there, and then we can add a sentiment going right across that piece. All right, so much that you can do with this collage piece. Doesn't have to go in a journal. It can go into a scrapbook album. It can go on a scrapbook page. It can go on the front of a card. It just gives you that different look. So that's what's really cool. These are the bases that I'm using. So I keep sections from when I die cut, if they're large enough, because we can tear them. And that's what I'm doing. I'm just tearing this little edge right off. And I do that on all sides. I like the look of a torn edge for something like this. And then this last one. Wow, this is really thick paper. Okay. And that is our base. All right, so I'm just going to keep on doing some clusters, or AKA collage sets. And let me tell you a little bit more. So Biddy Penny, I'm sure a lot of you know her already. She has a great channel. She does lots of collages. She's just very freeing with what she creates. And I'm going to use this. And I'm going to tear it this way. As she puts her pieces together. And she came up with a membership. The day that I'm filming this, she did a Zoom. So she's got different levels, and her memberships start at $2.99 a month and up to $9.99, which is terrific. And then there's different perks within each of those. Of course, if you go into the highest tier, you have access to everything, and it's lifetime access to, even if you're interested in these clusters and seeing how she did and what her thought process was with them. You would have immediate access to them, so you never lose that. But it was a lot of fun. So if you wanted to check it out, it's down below. We were laughing. We were just having a good time today. It was a lot of fun. But I will have her channel linked below, and if you click on membership, you'll be able to see all that. But I'll have the link to the membership as well, and that's where you can see the different levels and get all the information that you would want to see. So you can see I'm adding some pattern paper in the back. I've got this coffee dyed paper, and you know, there's always a controversy: coffee dyed or tea dyed, coffee dyed or tea dyed. I do lean towards coffee dyed paper, and I lean towards that because it's darker, it's richer. I like the look of it because it is so dark, and it can get even darker depending upon, you know, how long you let them sit into the coffee. I do also tea dye. I just grabbed some pieces of ephemera there. When I want a lighter shade. I'm actually getting ready to do a bunch. So this one, since it's the largest one, I want that one to be my focal. So I'm going to set that there, but I also want a tab to come off of it, and I'm going to use this one, and I'm going to have that come off over there. So let me get that down on there. I should have changed my I should have changed my ink pad a long time ago. So I'm going to get this right over here, and I want that to hang off. And we'll get that somewhat straight. Here we go. Okay. So yeah, so I encourage you to check it out. We got a preview of what February is going to be about. It's kind of cool. And if you have any questions, you can certainly reach out, and she will be able to answer those questions for you. But she did. She inspired me to get back into something that I really do love. I really do love working in the journals. And creating these pieces. And I hope you guys do as well, because we're going to see more. So I'm hoping, don't hold me to this. I'm hoping soon, sometime in February, to do a live. Oh, this should be fun. Yep, doing a live. Never have. So keep an eye out on the community page, because I know that it will be entertaining, if nothing else, to see, one, if I can connect and figure all of this out. So, you know, there's that. I think I'm going to have that come off like that. I like the jotting out of things as well. So yeah, keep an eye on the community post, because then you can ask questions. So it'll be like a Q&A. I've really never done one of those. I usually, when I get questions, I just answer them. But they're always really good questions. And I'm going to put that on top of that. Have that go across. And I don't want to fully push that down because I want this to be underneath. And we're going to do that. Here we go. And there is our cluster collage. Now you can also, you know, make sure, you know, to ink the back just to give it some color. I don't think I'm ever going to have to add ink to that again. And then what I like to do is I have this script stamp. And I always pull in my archival ink for this as well. And the reason why I do that is if I have any ephemera pieces, like, you know, from the Tim Holtz, see how it's shiny? This one here, you know, it's got that sheen, that shine to it. Archival ink is going to stay on that. So what I like to do is just ink up the pad, and then I take this and I just walk up, pressing down, and flip it off. And now I've got that print going along that as well. And again, it just adds a little bit of texture with that print on the back there. But when I do that to this one, because it's that shiny, glossy photo, I need that to have time to dry, or else it's going to smear right off. Because you can see it. I don't know if the camera's going to pick that up. You can see it on there, but I want that to dry because I don't want to lose that. If I push my finger over that, it would go away. It would wipe off, and I don't want that to do that. So archival ink won't do that. If I use the distress ink, it would wipe away. I'll just wipe that a little bit. All right, so we've made those two right now. I'm going to show you, or let me show you what one would look like on a paperclip. And I just do it to the one side. I do it to the side, of course, opposite of this, so that it can sit on a page. So here we need, you know, smaller bits. And I think for this one, I am just going to use some pattern papers. And yeah, I really like that edge. And now I'm going to go down this one. And I'm going to tear this up here. And you can make your base as big as you would want. And what I mean by that is I have another piece here that's ripped up. And just in case, I'm just going to ink around this. And again, the inking is a personal preference. And that's going to give that just a little bit more stability. But I want to put something on top of this. Too bright. Oh, like that. Now, what I'm going to do with this one is I'm going to glue this to the front. And I'm just going to line that up to my edge. And I'm just going to snip off the top. So I'm going to do that. And I'm going to do that. And then I'm going to come in and tear the rest. Now, I do not save these pieces. I'm just, just saying. But they make a great embellishment. Absolutely. But no, I'm not going to save. All right. So now I have that. And I want to keep that on there. There we go. And then I'm going to put this over here. All right, so let's get that glued. So you can see I really extended it off of the Paperclip base. All right, I really have this long piece jotting out there. Now, what I should have done too was ink around that back paperclip, because it's just what we need to do. Just saying. Let's get this glued down. I also get asked a lot, what type of glue? You know, what type of glue do you use? When it comes to something like this, a PVA. It's just got to be a PVA glue. And there's lots out there. This happens to be Craft Tacky Glue from Tonic. All right, so now I've made this a little more sturdier by putting that piece down. So now we can just have fun creating this cluster. And now I'm going to get this piece down. But before I get that down, I want to grab a piece of fabric. So I've chosen just a couple here. So this is all from my quilting days. Loved jelly rolls. So if you're a quilter, you'll know what I'm talking about there. Jelly rolls are great if you're looking for some like fabric for your journals. Jelly rolls are great because you get so many strips of fabric because you don't need much. You'll see that I am not using a big piece. Yes, I even like to tear my fabric. Now, these little scraps, I do keep them. They go into this box here. And then I like to fray the fabric. Again, I just think it adds character. So it lets out a lot of frustrations. Just saying. And that's too long, so we're going to shorten that up just a little bit. And yep, I even keep that. And I want to put that there. All right, now to glue down the fabric, I do use a Fabri-Tac. This is, so Fabri-Tac glue is an alcohol-based glue. Now you can certainly use it on paper as well, because what's great with Fabri-Tac, because it's alcohol-based and not water-based, it will not curl up the paper. It won't warp. The issue that comes about is it's pricey. It's definitely a good amount of it. So I only use it when I'm putting down lace, fabric, sari silk, those type of elements down onto my pieces. You can use regular glue, but sometimes it just doesn't adhere for me. And I'm just going to put that down on top, and I'm going to press just a little bit to get that glue going there. So this is what we have so far, which I think is really cool. And I keep those little stragglers there. Again, it's character for me, you know, because I'm a character. Yes. And I want to find another piece. Pattern paper. Oh, here we go. Love that. I want that. So I'm going to pull out my little mini pinking shears here, and I'm going to cut that out, because that will give it a stamp look. And then I just want to add a label. Now, I usually get my labels I use digitals for that. And I'll link to a couple places where I get labels that look like this. They're just fun to add to your pieces. And maybe yeah. And we're going to add our glue. I think I'm actually going to go that way. Yeah, I want to get this down first now. See, even when we collage, we're constantly changing our minds. Going to put that there. And I'm going to have that going over it. And we'll press. So here's one where we didn't use any purchased ephemera. We just used scraps of our pattern paper, and even from one of our pattern papers, we were able to get a stamped image. Just a piece of digital. You could just always use a piece of coffee dyed paper there, or plain paper there as well. That would look just fine. And we're going to do the same thing. I'm going to come in with my Archival ink. Lay that down. Walk it. I'm not looking for perfect impression. I just want the hint of that stamp to go on our piece there. All right, now I'm just gonna push this stuff out of the way, get my cap on the glue so it doesn't dry, because that happens to me all the time. That's why it clogs. All right, so here, let me push it away a little bit. Oh, if you could only see outside this. Now, this would even look pretty if we put that on there as well. Yeah. Okay, let's ink that. See, it's so tough to stop once you start. So tough. Oh yeah, okay. I'm just going to put glue here down on the bottom. And we'll angle it just a little bit. And remember, it's okay that this is covered, because we added a little bit of interest to the back, because you'll see if I pull in my book. And let's go to this side so I can go to a white page there. You can just clip it right onto your page. So now what you create with that is also a tuck spot that'll hold the paper. So they can be any size. These are just the bases that I use. I have a tag punch and I just punch a bunch of them out, but I do use hot glue in between. So sorry for the Harley going by. In between these two pieces where the paper clip is going, just to add that. And again, I keep that little tiny lip up there so that I can add so here I have some ribbon. Just gonna cut a piece. Here's some thin twine. And I'll just, what's that? Oh, I'm going the wrong way. So you're all probably saying, oh, wow, that's a lot. Yeah, well, yeah. Because then what I like to do is I just like to fold it in half. I'm not looking for it to be perfect. I twist it. I bend it. And we're going to ever so lovingly pull that through, or get that through the top. You really gotta twist it. I know, you're all saying, why'd you use so much? Oh, because it's kind of what I do. Here we go. It started. Here we go. See, it comes through. Now I just got to find the center. See, the struggle is real, people. struggle is real. We do it to ourselves. And then this one needs to go over here as well. This actually needs to cross. And then all of this gets pushed through here because that paper clip is not going to go anywhere. It's just not. And then to make sure it's tight, I just keep pulling on each one. And to just make sure that's tight. And now it is. And now you've got this beautiful flowy tassel bow coming up off of your piece. And yes, I used a teal, an aqua blue, because I like the contrast of the colors. So again, if I pull the journal back in, and when you clip that on one of your pages, and I've just took my re-inker, or my inker thing there, it comes right off the page. It just sits there. And you get this billowiness that comes off. This can also go onto the side. It doesn't have to go up and down, so then you have it coming out the side of your journal as well. So I am going to put this here. And so now I can get some clusters into my book, which is awesome. And just like that, I lost my cap. No, I didn't. Found it. And as I said, I'm going to use these repositional glue dots. And I'm going to take some of this stick away. You can use whatever you would want to adhere these. Just going to put that there. And then put that there. And we'll put that one there. Again, I'm just taking some of the stick away because I'll be taking these out for when I have a journal ready. And then this one I'll put down here because I have those little numbered tabs coming off. That will catch my eye, I'm sure. You can put that there. So you can see I've got things coming out, and when I'm ready to use one, I just pull, and that will come off as well. So just if you do get repositional glue dots, that's what these are. I'm not sure why I had them. I'm just saying. I'm just saying. Just take some of the stick away with them. You know, don't put them directly on and put them down. I'm not worried about if these pages tear in any way. I mean, I'll even cut them out if I have to. But again, it's just a way to store. And again, I can come right in here, grab that, and it comes off. So I think it's kind of awesome that I have that many in there. So again, I hope you enjoyed it. Very different than what I normally do. I love to get out of that zone just a little bit. Grab your scraps. Have fun. creating your clusters, your collages, and put them on cards. They look beautiful on cards, like I had shown with that one. They are perfect, and then you can add any sentiment that you want. I'll have Biddy's information down below. Again, if you haven't checked her out, I encourage you to do that. She is a fun crafter. She does lots of lives, and just has fun with paper, because that's what this is about. Have fun with it. Use up those scraps, and I'll be showing you more ways that we can use these scraps up as well as we continue in 2024. So again, links down below for her membership, for her channel. Check it out. Don't forget to subscribe. I'd love to have you here. Make sure you hit the thumbs up. Make sure you ring the bell, because hopefully you may be notified. You just never know. Enjoy the process. It's just paper. It is absolutely just paper. You can have fun with it. You can have fun creating the different elements. And remember, when you're doing this, when you are creating with paper or anything that you create with, you are creating art. And it is truly art. Doesn't matter what it looks like, it is art. But most of all, enjoy that process. Don't worry about what everybody else is doing. Don't worry about what it looks like. Never stop. Never throw it away. Keep going with it. Walk away if you have to, but just enjoy. But most of all, remember, always be creative, guys, in everything that you do. And I will talk to you in the next one, and hopefully I'll see you in Biddy Penny's membership. Till then, take care.